All right, I'm Joanna and I'm here with Rachel. We are celebrating because baby girl Alice, who was 9 months old at time of sleep training, is totally sleeping through the night, taking gorgeous naps, and we've had a complete family transformation. And Rachel's here to tell us a little bit about her journey. So Rachel, tell me what life looked like before you called me.
Yeah, so with Alice, things kind of took a transition in a direction that I didn't anticipate. And meaning, uh, with my first child, we could put him in the crib right away. With her, it ended up slowly being a transition into co-sleeping, and I ended up having a mattress and sleeping on the floor in the room with her, and I was nursing her on again, off again all night, and that was sustainable for a while and easier in some ways than having to feel like I had to wake up with as much frequency as she required, especially when I was going back to work. But as she got a little bit older and started crawling right around 6 months, she ended up having more frequent wake ups every 30 to 45 minutes, which was really pretty hard.
Mhm.
And she was getting increasingly difficult to go to bed. So she would be tired, but we would lay down together and I'd try to nurse her to sleep. And then she would wake back up and think it was great and crawl all over me, which was really frustrating, especially when you're sleep deprived after so many nights in a row of being woken up with such frequency.
Yes, yes. And dad had to be in a different bedroom. So you were with Alice doing kind of co-sleeping, nursing all night long, and kind of
Mhm.
Alice using you as a human pacifier. And then dad had to be in the other room. And I also recall that, you're a physician, and you're an anesthesiologist, and you being sleep deprived is probably not a great idea in the OR. So you
Yeah.
recognized pretty quickly that with Alice being so gleeful in the bed with you and crawling and staying up, every 30 to 45 minutes, you're like, I need help. So when you decided to reach out for help because you just knew like this is not sustainable. We need to do this. Why
Mhm.
why else did you decide to read for help? Tell me about like your thought about reading the book. Like if you were to do this on your own, what were you afraid of?
Yeah. So, when my husband and I talked about how to approach sleep training Alice, it ended up being like differing ideas. And, um, you know, uh, well, really, I knew if I, if we decided to like read a book and about sleep training, that I would be the one that would read the book and my husband would not read the book. And then I would be telling my husband what I read in the book and then correcting him when he didn't do things as they were written in the book. And I would just feel like a tired nag. So, in
Yes.
avoiding that whole entire situation, it was much easier to hire a consultant that that had the knowledge base and could just tell us how to conduct ourselves and facilitate a nicer transition to having her sleep. So um, that was a lifesaver, and it really helped mitigate a lot of arguments, especially when you're sleep deprived and you have the potential to feel more short with people.
Mhm.
It really it was a really nice transition, and thankfully once we got going with Joanna, it didn't take us very long to having her sleep through the night. And for me, that was a big life changer for my own personal quality of life, to be able to sleep through the night, be able to wake up in the morning and exercise was is nice. I wasn't doing that before.
Mhm.
um, and also in the evening time, being able to put Alice to bed and walk away meant that I could focus on other things. Like I could help with chores around the house, and I could most notably spend time with my son, who was feeling kind of ignored. So I got to be back in the rotation for bedtime stories for him and really make him feel valued. Whereas before, it was definitely, you could tell he was feeling like he was being slighted, and what he was.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. So that dynamic of like the ultimate tag team, it was like,
Yeah.
Robbie was with your son and they were doing their thing, and you were with Alice because Alice required so much from you. You were what I call very mommy preference. Like she only wanted you because she wanted the breast, and it was this very kind of rigid dynamic. So even if you wanted to spend time with Lucian, there was always a redirect because Alice needed you. So now we've got like the benefit of that. It's balanced. In other words, that no matter who puts her to bed, it's the same. So Robbie can put her to bed, you can put her to bed, a babysitter can put her to bed, and she's as happy with one person versus the other, which is huge, right? So that now, like you said, there's more equality in the household, that she can go to bed and then you can spend time with your son and take care of yourself or spend time with your husband, and you have your master bedroom back. So that's a big step, right? Because before it was, again, divide and conquer, because that's what we had to do. And now there's just more balance and harmony for everybody. That's awesome. So what would you, if you ran into a sleep deprived mother and she was complaining that her baby wasn't sleeping through the night and she was really concerned, what would you want her to know about how to solve that problem?
Well, I mean, I think for myself, being able to call upon help is really important. You know, when you are a busy professional and working and potentially living away from family, it's nice to be able to have some support from somebody else. And there's so much science behind sleeping children, and I just frankly don't have the time to delve into that, as interesting as it is. And it's nice to be able to call upon somebody who is an expert in that field and who you can trust and who you know is going to guide you in a gentle and kind way of putting your child to sleep.
Awesome. Yeah. And I would say that that's like an important thing, because you as a physician, obviously you are all about the science and all about research. And so to know that everything we did was based on sleep science, behavioral science, and attachment theory was super important to you.
Yeah.
So that you knew everything you were doing was science backed and it wasn't just some arbitrary process.
Yeah. And one thing, Joanna, that I think I took away from all of this, that I don't know if I told you, but it actually has influenced my own sleep habits, which has been really nice. I had horrible sleep crutches, and then facilitating Alice through all of this and thinking about my own mental state and going through that and realizing, if my daughter can develop good sleep habits and trying to eliminate her crutches and looking at what my own crutches are and realizing how valuable my time is. And if I really want to get 8 hours sleep, I need to put my phone down, and my phone needs a bedtime, just like everybody else does. and really valuing that and valuing myself enough to know that I have a hard stop and this is my bedtime and I'm going to sleep, and that gives me time to wake up in the morning and be able to take care of myself. So for my own personal wellness, I think it was a journey for Alice, and it was a journey for myself and my husband as well, and just our own personal wellness as a family.
Oh my God, can you see how I'm just like beaming from the inside out? Like, that is it, because my whole thing is I want to start a well-rested family revolution. So we can see what that looks like, right? We get the baby sleeping, then the parents start sleeping, then the parents start prioritizing their health and wellness so that everybody's well rested, so they can go and feel really good and have really feel good, productive days because you're well rested. I'm so excited. Well, Rachel, it was such a pleasure working with you and your husband and your darling girl. And I'm just delighted that you are now part of the Well Rested Revolution. And thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome.